No matter how hard we try, it seems like we cannot change our underlying psychological patterns, our crystallized behavior. It seems like we don't have access to the source code. We cannot change it. We cannot really feel like we've changed. We've tried so many things, and yet we fall back to old habits, to old ways of being. We cannot really make a change and forever be that way. And it seems like we cannot do it. But it's because we have wrong expectations. We expect ourselves to change in a few weeks or even in a few days. And you can definitely do it if you have the right strategy to do that and the right expectation of what it takes to do an identity level change where you become a different person. You can do it in a few weeks, no problem, but you have to understand what it takes because most people were just gonna do a few things here and there and then expect to change, expect to be a different person. Just imagine yourself. What would it take to change someone else? How hard is it to change someone else? And understand that you're no different at all. And you have more power than over someone else because you live in your own body, your own mind, your own emotions, and you can tell yourself to do certain things up to a point. But you have to understand that in order to really change, to really have a deep identity level change, you need a lot of repetitions. Not only just a few here and there, not to just build a habit. To build a habit, it only takes 38 repetitions. But to have a deep identity level change, a core identity change, you need between 500 and 1,000 repetitions. It sounds preposterous, but if you can do 20, 30, 50 repetitions a day, it doesn't have to be such a long while. And then you can coast and do just a few repetitions each day to really do that change. And you have to understand that whenever you want to do a change in your life, it feels wrong, it feels bad, it doesn't feel like it's natural. And it's not because it's unnatural, it's because you don't have any experience with that feeling, with that change. You don't feel as if it's natural because you haven't worn that pair of shoes yet. You really have to walk into it to really ease and do so many walks, so many steps in those shoes until they feel natural, until you feel like that thing is part of you. And the perfect number is 500 to 1,000 repetitions. Anywhere in between those repetitions, and you're gonna feel like that is part of you because it's 10 times more than you need to build a habit, 20 times more than you need to build a habit, but you have to go beyond the habit if you want to have that in your identity, in your core psychological patterns. If you really want to change the person that you are, it has to have so much momentum over you that it becomes part of you, that you are ingrained. And it makes perfect sense. If you did something 1,000 times, don't tell me you haven't changed. Don't tell me that that thing hasn't become part of you as you are part of it. So you have to understand, you have to really have clear expectations and you have to keep count of these repetitions every single day until you hit those numbers. And then you can chill out and coast a little bit. You can relax after you've did that change. It just changes everything once you go over 500 to 1,000 repetitions. And it doesn't have to take 2 years, 3 years to do so many repetitions. You can do it so much faster. All you have to do is understand that you can do shorter repetition. Shorter repetitions means that you do it for a minute or two, and then you do it over again with short breaks, 10 seconds, 30 seconds break. So it means that you don't really have to work more for your results. You're doing the same amount of work, but it's more effective because you are building not only momentum and the habit, but you are building so much momentum and so much proof in starting and being that person who starts that habit, who does that thing, that now it becomes part of you. You get ingrained into starting that habit, because starting a habit is so much more important. The beginning part of it is so much more important than everything else. That is what dictates how many repetitions you had. The times you have started that habit dictates how many times you did it. So you have to understand and take this into account into your expectations, and not just jump from strategy to strategy to strategy to strategy. Commit to one strategy for 500 to 1,000 repetitions, and you will gain a lot of success from that. You will gain a lot of change. Maybe it's not really going to be the exact change that you want, but the next repetitions, you will have a little bit of choice in what you want to change, in the direction. You gain more control over your life this way. It's so much nicer to feel free, to know how you can improve your whole life in just a few weeks. If you do 50 repetitions a day, in 10 days, you will have 500 repetitions. That's easy to do. If it's 30 seconds per repetition, it's half an hour. Well, more than half an hour. But it doesn't matter. It's so easy to do. You can do them so fast. 20 days, 1,000 repetitions. You can really have an identity level change in 20 days if you want. All it takes is 1,000 repetitions, and you will have that change. But you see, if you have the expectations to do something a few times, maybe 10 times, 20 times, and then giving up because it doesn't work, that strategy doesn't work. We're obsessed with having the perfect strategy, as opposed to implementing a strategy and seeing if it really works, testing it out to its limits. And trust me when I say, this is the best way to do it. Sure, there might be more amazing ways to do it, more optimized ways to do it. But this way, if you just focus on that, because it's so simple, you're gonna have a change in your life. You're gonna have more control. You're gonna be able to really, really do whatever you want. And no matter how hard it is, you're gonna have a way to get out of it. No matter how hard the habit is to break, and the ingrained patterns have so much control over you, you're gonna be able to really switch those things around. All it takes is many more repetitions. It doesn't take more time. It doesn't take more effort. It actually takes just more repetitions. So those repetitions, if you make them shorter, it doesn't have to take more time.